Stop scrolling. Florida has 22 million residents. It gets 130 million tourists every year. Everybody thinks they know Florida. Nobody knows Florida. There is a version of this state that doesn't show up in travel guides. A version built on massacres and mass graves and asylums that should never have been allowed to operate. A version where the dead are not particularly interested in staying dead. I found 50 of those places, real locations, documented hauntings, places you can visit this weekend. And I'm going to give you the Google Maps link to every single one. Let's go. Number 1, Hotel Cassadaga, Cassadaga, Florida. This entire town was built in 1894 for one purpose: to communicate with the dead. Every resident is a certified medium. The hotel sits on what guests described as deeply unsettling ground. Room 11 has the most reported activity: cold spots, shadows moving on their own, and the feeling of being watched while completely alone. Google Maps link is in the description. Book a night if you dare. Number 2, the St. Augustine Lighthouse. 2 girls drowned here during construction in 1873. Visitors hear children laughing near the top of the 219-step tower. No children are there. The lighthouse runs ghost investigation nights. You can actually go inside after dark with equipment. Number 3, Huguenot Cemetery, St. Augustine. Established in 1821, when yellow fever was killing entire families in weeks, Judge Stickney's ghost is seen near his headstone, still searching for his teeth, which were stolen by grave robbers who thought they were made of gold. One of the most genuinely unsettling cemeteries in America. Free to visit, link below. Just a break. Number 4, the Don CeSar Hotel, St. Pete Beach. The Pink Palace, built in 1928. The original owner, Thomas Rowe, fell in love with a Spanish opera singer. Her family separated them, and she died young. He spent the rest of his life in this hotel waiting for her. He still is. Staff report a man in a white suit near the grand piano after midnight. You can stay here. It costs money. It might cost more than money. Number 5, Fort East Martello Museum, Key West. Robert the Doll lives here. If you don't know Robert, he is a sailor doll that has been blamed for car accidents, job losses, divorces, and worse, by visitors who mocked him. The museum staff make children apologize to him before they leave. I'm not joking. Link in the description. Number 6, Kingsley Plantation, Jacksonville, Florida's oldest surviving plantation. The ghost of Anna Magigan J., enslaved, later freed, later a landowner in her own right, is seen among the ruins of the slave quarters at dusk. Rangers report figures in the fields after closing. Free to visit. Open most days. The history alone is worth the trip. Number 7, the Biltmore Hotel, Coral Gables. Gangster Thomas Walsh was murdered on the 13th floor in 1929. His ghost has been reported in the corridors ever since. The rooftop pool, closed for decades after a series of incidents, has the highest concentration of paranormal reports in the building. You can stay here. The 13th floor rooms are available. Your choice. Number 8, Tampa Theater, Tampa, built in 1926. The ghost of projectionist Foster Finley has never left. Staff report the projector turning on by itself in locked rooms, footsteps in empty booths, a whistling with no source. They show movies here, regular movies, with a ghost running the projector. Number 9, Coral Castle, Homestead. Not a haunting in the traditional sense. Something stranger. One man, working alone at night for 28 years, moved over 1,100 tons of coral rock using tools nobody can identify. Engineers today cannot explain how he did it. He claimed to understand the secrets of the pyramids. He left behind cryptic writings about magnetic currents. When he died, no machinery was found. Link in the description, worth every penny of the entry fee. Number 10. Devil's Millhopper, Gainesville, a 120-foot sinkhole where settlers found ancient bones. Native tribes believe sinkholes were entrances to the underworld. Stand at the edge, look down into the dark. Tell me they were wrong. We're 10 locations in, and we haven't even gotten to the asylums yet. The full list, all 50 locations, with a Google Maps link for every single one, is linked in the description right now. If you want to plan a trip, save it. If you want to go deeper on any of these, the guide has the full history of each location. Let's keep going. Number 11. Florida State Hospital, Chattahoochee, opened in 1876. At its peak, over 3,000 patients in conditions a 1946 journalist described as criminal, lobotomies, insulin coma therapy, people sleeping on bare floors. EFP investigators working the old ward buildings have recorded a voice that says, and I'm reading this from a documented investigation report, "Don't leave us here. The hospital is still active. The old buildings are still standing. The voice is still there." Number 12. Pensacola Lighthouse. A Civil War soldier is seen standing motionless in the basement, no light source, just a figure in a uniform against the wall. Naval personnel on the adjacent base, people with security clearances and professional reputations, have independently reported a light moving up the tower on nights when the lighthouse is locked, closed, and empty. Number 13. Talamado Cemetery, St. Augustine, one of the oldest cemeteries in the United States, dating to 1704. Open only one Saturday per month. If you can get there on the right Saturday, go. The ghost of a young boy is consistently reported near the mausoleum. Visitors describe a weight to the air in certain sections that has nothing to do with the Florida humidity. Number 14. Marjorie Canaan, Rawlings State Park, Cross Creek. She won the Pulitzer Prize in 1939 and never fully left. In sealed rooms that have been empty for hours, the smell of cigarette smoke and fresh citrus appears with no source. She was a heavy smoker. She grew her own citrus grove. Visitors report rocking chairs moving in empty rooms. A typewriter in a sealed display case that produces clicking sounds. Number 15. Stranahan House, Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale's oldest building, Ivy Stranahan, lost the family fortune and drowned herself in the New River in 1971. She is seen on the porch, looking at the water, still there. Number 16. Indian Key, Islamorada. In the pre-dawn hours of August 7, 1840, a war party landed on the island and killed most of the population. The island has never been resettled. You can kayak out to it. Visitors consistently report an atmosphere that makes it very hard to stay after the shadows start moving in the afternoon. The island has decided something. I don't think it wants company. Number 17. The Everglades. The deep Everglades has deadwater zones, areas where no birds call, no insects sing, and the water sits completely still. Mississippi guides call them thresholds. 300 missing persons cases in the Everglades have never been solved. 300 people in the swamp decided to keep. Number 18. Henry B. Plant Museum, Tampa. The former Tampa Bay Hotel. A man in 1890s military dress is seen in the East Wing, standing at windows staring out. Always the same window, always facing the same direction, always gone when you look directly. Number 19. Dudley Farm, Newberry. A Civil War era working farm where figures appear in the fields at dusk. Near the old slave quarters, staff and visitors report the same thing. the physical sensation of someone standing directly behind you. Turn around. Nothing there? Turn back. It's there again. Number 20, the Riddle House, West Palm Beach, a former funeral home now relocated to Yesteryear Village. The ghost of caretaker Joseph, who hanged himself in the attic, is reportedly violently hostile to men specifically. Women report nothing unusual. Men report things they won't describe in detail. 20 down, 30 to go, and the full guide with every map link is sitting in the description waiting for you right now. Number 21, Old Jail After Dark, St. Augustine, the 1891 county jail. Executions on the grounds. Small group paranormal investigations at night with equipment provided. Guides report consistent EVP results in the solitary confinement cells. Consistent, as in it happens regularly enough that they've stopped being surprised by it. Number 22, Bellamy Bridge, Mariana. Florida's most haunted bridge, Elizabeth Bellamy, burned to death in her wedding dress in 1837. A glowing figure matching her description is reported on foggy autumn nights on the trail leading to the bridge. There is an easy half-mile walk to the bridge. Bring bug spray. Don't go alone. Number 23, Ybor City, Tampa. Sealed mob tunnels under the historic district. Construction workers breaking through walls during renovations have found spaces that weren't on any blueprint. And things inside those spaces they won't describe. Number 24, Old Christ Church, Pensacola. Every early rector of this church died within years of arriving. Yellow fever, tuberculosis, unknown causes. The pattern continued through the 19th century with a consistency that doesn't feel like coincidence. The churchyard holds 200 years of clergy who didn't last long in this building. Number 25, Greenwood Cemetery, Orlando, operating since 1880. 2,000 to 3,000 unmarked graves in the Potter's Field section. Influenza victims, Civil War victims, lynching victims, the uncounted poor. A mile and a half from the entrance to Walt Disney World, Florida, in one image. Number 26, Castello di San Marcos, St. Augustine. Built in 1672, never conquered. 2 officers and a colonel's wife allegedly walled alive inside. In the sealed rooms, a persistent scent of roses with no source. Roses in a 350-year-old military fort, no explanation. Number 27, Gamble Plantation, Ellington. A Confederate cabinet member hid here while fleeing the country after the Civil War. A soldier is seen on the grand staircase on stormy nights, still standing guard for a cause that lost 160 years ago. Number 28, the Stetson Mansion, DeLand. A servant who died in the kitchen in the 1880s is still seen there, still working, still wearing period clothing, still going about her day as if nothing has changed. 140 years later. Number 29, St. Francis Inn, St. Augustine. The oldest continuously operating inn in the United States, established 1791. Lillian, an enslaved girl who fell to her death, haunts room 3A. Guests report weeping in the night, multiple guests, in multiple years, in the same room. Number 30, Canapa Prairie, Gainesville. Unexplained lights at ground level have been reported here for 150 years. The Tamaka called them spirit fires, a University of Florida research team. There for an ecology study, not a ghost hunt, documented 3 incidents of unexplained luminous phenomena over 6 weeks. The appendix of their report notes it. The main body of the paper says nothing. Science writes it down. Science just doesn't always publish what it finds. Number 31. Bulo Plantation Ruins, Flagler Beach. Burned in 1836, never rebuilt, the jungle has been growing back for nearly 200 years. Rangers report unexplained fires in the ruins after closing, in areas where nothing flammable remains. Number 32. The Flagler Museum, Palm Beach. Henry Flagler's ghost appears in the master bedroom. Staff hear the sound of a wheelchair rolling through empty corridors. He spent his final months paralyzed in one. Number 33. Key West Cemetery, above-ground vaults. Because flooding makes burial impossible. Famous for the epitaph that reads, "And this is real, I told you I was sick." Established after the 1865 yellow fever epidemic killed a quarter of the city's population in one summer. Number 34. Flagler College, St. Augustine. Henry Flagler's 1888 hotel, now a college. A Gilded Age socialite walks the Flagler room. The painted portraits in the grand dining hall are reported to attract visitors with their eyes as they move through the room. Multiple visitors, multiple years. Same portraits, same movement. Number 35. Deering Estate, Cutler Bay. Built over a Native American burial mound on Biscayne Bay, the mound area produces the most intense reported activity on the property. Charles Deering's ghost walks in the main house. The people buried beneath the house are considerably less polite. Number 36. Dudley Farm Smokehouse, Newberry. EFP investigators consistently record voices here. A man who died on this site during the Civil War era is believed to be the source. Believed because nobody knows his name. Nobody recorded it. That's the darkest thing about this location, not the voice. The fact that it belonged to someone history didn't bother keeping track of. Number 37. Sulphur Springs, Tampa. A young woman drowned in the springs in 1933 when the resort closed. Swimmers in the area today report cold grips on their ankles near the spring's mouth. The spring is still there. The grip, apparently, is still there. Number 38. Fort Brooks Site, Tampa. Modern Tampa was built directly on top of a Seminole War detention camp. Excavations for new construction still regularly uncover human remains. No identification, no records, just bones under the city. Number 39. Bach Tower Gardens, Lake Wales. The original Carolyn Masters Ghost plays compositions that doesn't exist in the official catalog. Always after closing, always when the garden is empty. Music from someone who died decades ago, still playing concerts for an audience that isn't there. Number 40. Gamble Rogers Memorial State Park, Flagler Beach. The folk singer Gamble Rogers drowned here in 1991, saving a Canadian tourist. The tourist lived, Rogers didn't. Campers and rangers consistently report quiet acoustic guitar near the water after dark. Nobody there, just the music. Number 41. Everglades City, former cocaine smuggling capital of America. Old fishermen describe a single slow-moving light in the mangroves on fall nights, in the channels where the old fishing runs used to go. Coming home. Number 42. Palm Beach County Burial Mounds. Dozens of Native American burial mounds set beneath suburban Palm Beach. Most homeowners don't know they're there. The ones who find out report their children waking at the same hour every night, describing people standing in their rooms, not threatening, just there, standing in the rooms of houses built on their graves. Number 43. Indian Key, Islamorada. Back to the island that refuses to be inhabited. The ruins are still visible through the vegetation. The last resident left in 1840. It has been uninhabited for 185 years. Whatever happened on that island in August of 1840, The island remembers, and it does not want to repeat it. Number 44, the Gulf Stream Dead Eddies, Florida's Atlantic coast. Not a place you can visit on land, but something you can cross every time you fly over Florida's coast. The Gulf Stream contains counter-current zones that trap and hold objects for months. Human remains have been found in these eddies in conditions that defy how the ocean normally moves bodies. Hundreds of people have disappeared in Florida's offshore waters and never been found. Some of them are circling right now in those eddies, going nowhere. Number 45, St. Augustine City Gates. Built in 1808, the Spanish soldier in full 18th century uniform is seen standing guard at the gates after midnight. Still at his post, for a city that stopped being Spanish 200 years ago. Number 46, Tolamato Cemetery on the third Saturday. If you are going to do one thing from this entire list, one thing, get yourself to St. Augustine on the third Saturday of any month and spend an hour in Tolamato Cemetery with the volunteer guides. It is one of the oldest cemeteries on American soil. The volunteers know every stone, every story, every person buried there. Most of them will tell you, if you ask them quietly enough, that they have experienced something in that cemetery they cannot explain. Not the tourists, the volunteers, the people who have been there dozens of times. Number 47, Cassadaga Devil's Chair. The cemetery bench in Cassadaga where if you leave an unopened can of beer overnight, it will be empty by morning. Nobody has explained this to anyone's satisfaction. Number 48, the old buildings at Florida State Hospital. The hospital is still active. People are still being treated there right now. And the old ward buildings where those EFP recordings were made are on the same grounds. Someone decided not to tear them down. Someone decided to leave them standing next to an active psychiatric facility. I find that more disturbing than the recordings. Number 49, Pensacola Naval Air Station at night. The base is restricted. You can't just drive in, but if you ever find yourself on the adjacent roads after dark, look toward the original 1914 hangars. The figure in the leather flying cap has been seen from the outside the fence, still on the flight line, still ready. Number 50, Fort Jefferson, dry Tortugas, 70 miles offshore, accessible only by boat or seaplane, one of the most remote places in Florida. Dr. Samuel Mudd was imprisoned here for setting John Wilkes Booth's broken leg after Lincoln was shot. He spent years in Cell 8. Cell 8 produces voices with no identified source. Not whispers, voices. 70 miles from shore, in a fort built in 1846, voices that haven't stopped talking for 160 years. 50 places, Florida in full. Not the postcard version, not the theme park version, the real version. The version that was here before the tourists. The version that will be here long after. The complete guide, all 50 locations, every Google Maps link, every haunting history is linked in the description right now. It was built specifically so you can open it on your phone and navigate to any of these places directly. No searching, no copy pasting, one tap. If you're planning a Florida trip and you want to go somewhere that actually has a story, that guide is the only one you need. Subscribe if you want more of this. Next time, we're leaving Florida entirely. Where should we go? Leave it in the comments. We're always listening.